Hi guys, I'm back. Yeah, I know it's been a while, but hey, as usual, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, devil in the detail. Subscribe, share, But quick ones today. Like first one, Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey's move to Villarreal has been confirmed, and just generally the Villarreal fans are not happy. Also, in the same week that he made an appearance in court in London, the first appearance, he's been granted bail, which is why he's able to go to Spain because he can travel with permission to go and sign for Villarreal. However, in Spain, the Villarreal Supporters Union and others they're not very happy with Thomas Partey coming to Villarreal. And I think the most important part of Thomas Partey's time in Spain will be the mental fortitude, because the trial is happening in London. A lot of things are going to emerge. Details will come as to whether they are true or not. That is not within my purview, but that is what happens in court cases. So we are going to hear details of what happened per what the police are recorded. And this will come at a time when he's invested in playing football. Now, he's also going to be at the receiving end of a lot of hostility from his own supporters, because the Villarreal Supporters Union, including the president of the Villarreal Supporters Union themselves, have said that they are not in support of Thomas Partey coming. In terms of the football itself, I think that Thomas Partey will do very well at Villarreal. Spain is a league that he knows. I think he's a bit more mature than when he left Spain, when he was playing for Atletico Madrid. He's not as athletic as he used to be, but he's smarter in his use of the ball. He's smarter in his coverage of space, and the slower nature of and more technical nature of the Spanish league will speak more to Thomas Partey's strengths. It's not like this is some Yawa team. It's a very, very strong team. They will be playing in Europe as well this season. So Thomas Partey going there really, really does do a good job for them. But I'm saying that if he's to make an impact, definitely is going to be the mental parts of his game, because how do you focus on playing football when your own supporters are making noise against you, when you have the general public making comments against you because details are coming out? This will be a very trying time for him. I wish him all the best in that endeavor. Most likely Ghana will miss out on him as well, because Ghana is playing World Cup qualifiers, I think, in September or October, at the same time that he's supposed to make appearances in court. And so let's mark that down, that quite likely Thomas Partey will not make appearance against Chad and also against Mali when those games are due. And last time we spoke about whether Manchester United had to make a choice between Sesko and Watkins. Well, Manchester United decided that it was going to be Sesko, and it looks like it's going to happen either by the end of this week or some other time. But all the attention is with Sesko. I spoke about the positives and the negatives. You can check out my previous video on the Oli Watkins versus Sesko comparison. That is going to get them. But what is even more intriguing is then the next push, which is for a central midfielder, and that was the most important position for Manchester United to fulfill, in my estimation. And everybody says Carlos Baleba. Is that going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen. Manchester United have reached out and have indicated that they are interested in signing the player, but I think it's going to cost a lot of money. And knowing Brighton, they fleece everybody. Brighton, they will overprice the player. They are going to drag this. Baleba is a player who's not earning a lot of money. His salary is £12,000 a week. It's not a lot. But the cash outlay to sign him will be somewhere in the region of £90 million, which is going to go around 100 million euros, 110 million euros. And now, as to whether Manchester United can afford that after the kind of summer they've just had, without paying in installments, might be where the crucial thing lies. And as to whether it gets done this summer is key. I don't think it gets done this summer. I think it's good Manchester United make an indication that they want to sign him, and maybe next season they do get him. But I don't think they get Baleba this season. I think they signify their intent and maybe get somebody else in the summer, because that's for that central midfield position. If Manchester United do not fill it, all the good signings that they've made will come to naught. They will suffer. There's no pace in that midfield. There's no control in that midfield. And I'm not a big fan of Kobe Menu. I like Ugarte because he gets a job done. But the game has also changed. A central midfielder is supposed to be more dynamic. A DM is no longer a workhorse. A DM is also supposed to be skilled technically on the ball. And so Ugarte doesn't seem, he seems to belong to a different era now, or to a different league, rather than what he finds himself in now. So maybe an upgrade is what Manchester United needs. Well, not maybe, they definitely need an upgrade in that space. I don't know what you guys think, but there aren't a lot of options. People mention Lamine Camara, people mention Agume and all those names. Can they do the job? Perhaps. I think Agume has a good say to it. You know, a lot of these young French boys seem to have the talent. There are those who have also said, look into England. There's like in the Championship, there's Hayden Hackney of Middlesbrough. Very, very good player from central midfield. You're definitely not going to get Adam Wharton of Crystal Palace. He's going to cost you 150 million if you don't take care. So that is another option that might not be available to Manchester United. So that central midfield position definitely key. It's good that they've spotted Baleba, because in the hierarchy of central midfielders in the English Premier League, I think if you take out Rodri, if you take out Declan Rice, if you take out Moise Caicedo, you are talking Carlos Baleba. So it's good that they've hit out for what obviously is premium material. But whether I can get done this summer is where the issue is. That don't forget, the league starts in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Can it be done? You tell me. Then there is also the case of Alejandro Garnacho that Chelsea say they want. Hallelujah to that. Because, look, I think that what Garnacho underestimated was the resolve of Manchester United to play it tough with him. I think that in his mind, he was going to be able to sit this out and dictate terms to Manchester United on, oh, I want to go here, I want to go there, or this or that. I think that Manchester United set a price and have been firm. And Chelsea will now have to meet the price. Manchester United say they want 40 million for Garnacho. Chelsea say they pay 30 million for Garnacho. Now, there are those who have said that Manchester United played themselves by reducing the price, the value of Garnacho, by saying they don't want the player. It does not work like that. If I say I don't want something, it doesn't mean that I will sell it for cheap, especially for a player like Garnacho. When Amorim said, pray you find a club that wants you, he meant business. Do you know why? Garnacho wants to play in the World Cup. The World Cup is next year. He doesn't want to be on the bench anywhere. And that is what is going to happen if he stays at Manchester United. So if Manchester United says they want 40 million, you definitely better tell the club that wants to buy you that go and pay Manchester United the 40 million, especially because Manchester United will also look at how the market has played out. Madueke went for 50 plus million. This same Chelsea went to buy Dortmund's Jamie Gittins for 55 million or so. Right? So there are a lot of players in the same band as Alejandro Garnacho who are moving for 50 million. If Manchester United says 40 million, you can't come and say that the same team that went to pay 55 million for Jamie Gittins should say that we are paying 30 million for Alejandro Garnacho, especially when he did pretty well in the English Premier League. I'm not a big fan of Garnacho as a winger, honestly speaking. He's not good in tight spaces. He has one-dimensional pace. His finishing is erratic. He's had some good moments, but does he have what I would want to see in a wide player? I think not. There are a lot of people who seem to believe his ceiling is high. Again, I think not. I would have preferred if they had shunted him to some other league, maybe in Italy or somewhere. But the player says he prefers to stay in England. Okay, Chelsea, bring the money and come and pay. That is all. I don't think it's a very complicated arrangement for Manchester United. I think that they hold all the cards in this particular scenario because they don't have to do too much. They simply have to play the waiting game. The pressure is on the player in this instance to convince the team that he believes he wants to go to cough up the money. Otherwise, Manchester United have said it, and Ruben Amorim has said it in previous press conferences. If at the end of the transfer window, the players have not been sold, they return as Manchester United players. He reserves the right to deal with them, whether to reintegrate them, whether to tell them to go and train with the under-21s. That is all his decision to make. But for Alejandro Garnacho, Chelsea better cough up that 40 million or he stays and rots on the bench. But it's a pretty precarious situation. I feel that deal also gets done because Manchester United also need the inflows. I think the 40 million might be agreed, but perhaps it's the payment structure that might be a bit different with the add-ons and whatnot. But I definitely think that Alejandro Garnacho gets his exit and Manchester United gets their money. Everybody wins. And then the last part of this is, and again, like I said, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. We need the numbers. Yeah. A lot of you are upset by the amendments, the proposed amendments to the GFA constitution that will allow a president of the Ghana Football Association to go through 3 terms. I want to put your mind at ease when it comes to these things. Don't waste your energies on getting angry when the GFA, Ghana Football Association, issues amendments. It will get passed. Okay, here's the thing. Fans are on one side, fan stakeholders are on one side, and they think that this is what the game needs to be. Then there are club owners and club administrators who are also on the other side who will tell you this is how we want our game to be. At the moment, there's a big gap between what Ghanaian football fans, and by that I mean the consumers of the local game, think our football needs. And then there's a big gap between what the Football Association also thinks they need. At the moment, those on the Football Association side of the things are the ones who have say. And that's why I say no peace. The truth of the matter is this. It is a members-only club. You, the fan, you are not a member. You pay to consume their product. So they decide what they want to do with their product. You don't like the product, you stay away. At the moment, fans don't like the product, which is why stadiums are empty. Club owners, they don't share that vex like that. You understand? So when they go to Congress and say that we like the way this person is leading us, and so we are going to add an extra term to it, we can be disgusted by it all we want. We can be outraged by it all we want. But I'm saying, I've been in this business for 22 years. I stopped being outraged 12 years ago because what I came to realize was that my outrage will not go anywhere. When it gets to Congress, it will get passed. Also, the nature, and on a more serious note, the nature of the structure of our football Congress and its administration has been structured over the past 13 years in such a way that whatever the top wants passed will get passed, right? So if they don't want something, it doesn't even get on the agenda. So next week, when they go over there, everything that is on the agenda is something that the Executive Committee of the Ghana Football Association has sat down and agreed upon and said, this is what we are going to do. So for all those who are out there who say, look, the Ghana Football Association, the government should go and stop them. The government can't stop the Ghana Football Association simply because the government funds the Black Stars. But the government doesn't fund the rest of the teams. You understand? So this is going to get passed. I'm not saying don't be outraged. I'm simply trying to let you understand what the reality of the situation is. It is a members-only club. That is why they call themselves football people. And then we have football fans. So fans can be outraged, but football people will tell you that this is what they are going to do. And honestly speaking, I don't think term limits are a problem. A lot of places have term limits. A lot of places also don't have term limits. But what our problem is the lack of trust that exists in the institutions and the makeup of Congress to check the person who is running the association. You can have a good leader in 4 years. You can have a good leader in 8 years. You can have a bad leader for 4 years. You can have a bad leader for 8 years. There is no automatic here. What needs to change for there to be growth is that the institution can check itself. At the moment, the institution lacks the ability to check itself. The optics will indicate that, oh, there's transparency and accountability. But if you look at the operationalization and the general outlook, you know that this is a weak institution when it comes to checking itself in terms of checks and balances. And that is where the problem is. If the checks and balances actually were strong, I don't think a lot of people would have problems with term limits because they know that, look, if the leader is bad, after one term, the system would do a recall and say, go away, bring in a new leader. But nobody trusts that. So what happens in our system is once a leader starts perpetuating longevity, that leader also starts bending the system and bending the rules to allow that person to perpetuate their longevity. And that is where we are. And that has been our problem for the past 20 years. Kusinya Chechi did it. It's happening now. Nobody will be able to do anything about it. So be at peace with it. Get used to it. If you still don't like the product, save your money in your pocket. Stay home. Don't go and watch the Ghana Premier League or any of the leagues for that matter.